Dinsdale.
Hello, I'm the Mellow Filmmaker, here to take the cynicism out of criticism. Today is another installment of Tales from Resale. Tales from Resale is where I review an obscure film that I found on the shelf of a store. Today I'm reviewing Andy the Talking Hedgehog. Today's film I found on the shelf of Family Video. It's a rental chain that recently closed all its DFW stores. I went to one of the closing stores and picked up 4 films. One is Patriot Games, which is a film that I'm going to review eventually. But that doesn't qualify for Tales from Resale, because I saw the film before I bought it, and it isn't that obscure. The other 3, however, do qualify for Tales from Resale, and I almost immediately watched Andy the Talking Hedgehog, since it seemed to be the most ridiculous of the 3. This is saying a lot because another film I picked up was called Wiener Dog Nationals. What immediately drew me into Andy the Talking Hedgehog was the cover. This somewhat sloppy Photoshop features an extremely oversized hedgehog riding a horse. A magical good time, says no one. Even Wiener Dog Nationals got some real quotes. This is definitely an obscure film with less than 100 ratings on IMDb. After this video, I do recommend checking out this film's IMDb page. It features some hilarious trolling, like the trivia that all hedgehogs were emotionally hurt during the making of this film, and 3 10-star user reviews which are hilariously sarcastic. Andy was directed by Joel Paul Reisig. Reisig's filmography seemed mostly filled with cheap kids films. In 2020, he made Faith Under Fire, starring Dean Cain and Kevin Sorbo. Because apparently one faith-based film about firefighters starring former TV actors who became sanctimonious asses was not enough. Earlier this year, Reisig released his most ambitious film yet, Trafficked, a film about human trafficking, which is a direct sequel to Andy the Talking Hedgehog. I originally wrote that as a joke, and I almost cut it out because I thought it might be insensitive, but then I noticed that 3 of the actresses play characters with the exact same name in Trafficked as they do in Andy the Talking Hedgehog. So it's entirely possible this isn't a joke. A film about human trafficking might take place in the same universe as a film about a talking hedgehog. When I start up this film, the first thing it shows is an ad for BeYourOwnHollywood.com. This is a website that is run by Joel Paul Reisig. He offers courses on how to finance and sell your film.
Film schools are basically going to teach you the right way to do things, and I am hopefully this weekend going to teach you the wrong way to do things, because that's how actual producers actually get things done.
Well, judging by today's film, you certainly mastered the wrong way to do things. I kid. His course probably does offer some good advice. And hey, he's making feature films and I'm not, so that's something. I do, however, find it funny that on the website you're supposed to click on him doing this awkward face. He's just standing there, awkwardly, waiting for interaction. This is pretty much me at any social gathering. Anyway, I think it's time to start reviewing Andy the Talking Hedgehog, or as the DVD file calls it, 53514_T1. The film starts with Andy getting stolen.
Okay, hold this thought. We'll get back to my kidnapping later. And I know what you're thinking. How can you understand me? Well, stuff like that happens sometimes. Call it magic, call it whimsy. I call it normal, because we animals talk all the time. You people simply just don't want to listen. But let's back up a few days ago.
Never mind, I guess we're starting the story earlier.
Okay. Why don't we back it up a little bit, before this entire wish thing happened?
Oh wait, no. Andy has to back it up again to introduce the family. Why? Why did you write it like this? We're not even 3 minutes in and this film is already sloppy.
That's Melly. She's Lily's super cool mom. Oh, this guy here is Bob. He's Lily's dad. He works a lot. He does whatever it is that those big humans do when they're not home eating. That's Tina, Lily's funny older sister. She likes boys and pop music.
Okay, so Andy didn't really have to introduce the family individually. He could have just said, if you've seen a family in a generic kids film, then you've seen this family. Workaholic dad, bratty sister, and level-headed mom. I especially love the descriptor that Tina loves boys and pop music. It's pretty much the most generic descriptor of a teenage girl ever. Tina liking boys and pop music isn't even ever shown in the film. There isn't a single scene of her fawning over a boy, or talking about how Ariana's new single smashes or something like that. As far as I'm concerned, she's actually a lesbian that's into soundtracks from Japanese films from the 60s and 70s. Not that I can blame her, those soundtracks are awesome.
She's also a great belly rubber. Okay, just a little belly rub, maybe a little bit under the chin would be nice too. I'm just gonna kick my foot.
Typically, animals enjoying getting their belly rubs is adorable, but when they can talk and display human-like intelligence, it starts becoming more suspect. You may have noticed that the dad, Bob, is played by Dean Cain. He's most known for playing Superman in the TV show Lois and Clark. Like most actors who played Superman, his post-Superman career hasn't been very fruitful. He's gotten a lot of work, but it's mostly in cheap bargain bin films. I'm just happy that so far, Henry Cavill has been spared this fate. Hopefully, I'm not eating my words when Cavill stars in Wiener Dog Nationals 4, Super Wiener. If you're feeling bad for Dean Cain, don't. His politics are awful.
Brian, I am Captain America. I love Captain America. I love the concept of Captain America, but I am so tired of all of this wokeness and anti-Americanism.
Though his politics aren't nearly as bad as Andy's. I'm very racist against porcupines. There's also Whiskers, an elderly cat that despises Andy. He's also given the ability to speak and seems to be shot mostly in slow motion, probably because they can't get the cat to stand still. The most pivotal character besides Andy is Lily, Andy's owner. Lily is a terrible child. She believes all the animals are her friends.
Hi, bird.
Burn in hell! Lily runs into her fairy BFF, played by Reid.
Who are you?
That's a good question. I'm someone who can grant a wish for you.
You can?
Yep, that's what I do.
Wow, I'm Lily.
I know.
You do?
Yep, I'm your fairy BFF. I know all about you, and Andy too.
I had a fairy BFF once. She told me we could go on a magical journey, and she gave me a soda. I woke up in a motel bathroom covered in ice. One of my kidneys was missing. Now to think about it, my fairy BFF might have also been Reid. Lily's fairy BFF offers to grant her a wish, and Lily wishes that all her friends can talk, which includes Andy, Whiskers, the flowers, and the trees. Yes, she believes the flowers and the trees are her friends, because she's psychotic. Andy is her best friend. You can tell because he's constantly trying to get away from her. Wait, if flowers and trees can talk, then can grass talk too?
Let's go back here.
Ow! 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 You may have noticed that this film doesn't have any effects for the animals talking. They just dub over the animals. I actually don't mind this minimalistic approach. This...
If any of these humans saw me or that walking little porcupine talking, there'd be some serious trouble.
Definitely looks better than this.
Who said that?
It's me.
You're a cat.
Read your machine.
After granting Lily her wish, the fairy BFF is given horrible news by her employer. It turns out giving speech to animals and plants is against the rules. If the fairy BFF doesn't get Lily to reverse her wish, she'll get turned into a toad. Imagine kissing a toad, hoping to get a handsome prince, and the toad turns into Reid. We're then introduced to the antagonists of the film, a pair of gardeners named Roller and Bubba.
I mean, just have a look at this guy. You can tell that he's up to no good.
Andy the talking hedgehog says you should judge people by their looks.
I don't know why I bring you out under these jobs. Oh, because we're best buddies. Wrong. Oh, because I'm a good gardener. Wrong again. I don't know. Why?
It's because you give the best BJs in the Metroplex.
I'm joking, of course.
You know your talent. Oh, gee, Roller. I don't want the world to see that. This is embarrassing. Come on, you do it all the time down at the bar.
Movie. I said I was joking.
Yeah, but that's for the guys.
For the love of God, I was joking. Like with the family, Roller and Bubba are pretty much as generic as you can get. You can probably tell just by looking at them what their personalities are like. One's skinny, one's fat, one's smart, and one's dumb. We've seen this a million times before. The two generic characters then partake in a very drawn-out, unfunny bit of the two not being able to set up a ladder. Meanwhile, Andy refuses to talk in front of the family. We're then introduced to Tina's girlfriend, Trixie. I love that, especially because I'm pretty sure she was directed to do that. Okay, Maven, when Allison opens the door, you need to do this face. Lily talks with Andy and eventually convinces him to talk in front of others. This leads to Lily calling Tina and Trixie into her room.
What do you want, Munchkin?
I want you to see something. This!
Oh my god!
Just kidding. Andy actually starts talking.
I'm a hedgehog, sweetheart, not a rat.
Oh my god.
You're intelligent? No, I've been naked in front of you so many times.
So have I.
Meanwhile, Rollo climbs up a ladder, hoping to spot Tina and Trixie experimenting again, but instead spots Andy talking.
Want to rub my belly, Tina?
Oh my god.
Come on, Tina, rub my belly. I can talk dirty while you do it. Tina decides to call another cheerleader named Tori. Tori's apparently very smart, and their team captain, so she would know what to do.
Bye, honey.
Hi, Mr. Mason.
Hiya, Trixie.
Oh, no, I'm Tori. Trixie's my dummy cheermate.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
All right, well, have a great day at school then, Terry.
Oh, okay, thanks. Bye. Don't work too hard, Mr. Mason. Bye.
So Tina, how would you like it if I was your new mommy? What?
That would be so cool. We could have ice cream for breakfast.
It seems Tori is infatuated with Bob. What is this going to lead to? Absolutely nothing. Seriously, it's never brought up again. Makes me wonder why they included it in the first place. Did Dean Cain only agree to do this film in exchange for there being a scene where a much younger woman ogled him? Maybe Tori having a crush on Bob was going to be in the film, but they decided it was inappropriate for a kids' film. It did seem like the subplot was going somewhere because we then get a scene of Tori being rude to the mom. Maybe the actress objected to the subplot due to her religious beliefs as stated in the ending credits.
Oh, I like Keela. She says praise Jesus a lot. I mean, like, a lot.
She says praise Jesus so much that she forced us to remove the most interesting subplot in the film. Remember, if you hate this film, blame Jesus.
Andy, you can't say stuff like that.
Hey, I wasn't granted the ability to talk just so I have to hold my tongue. Hail Satan! If they were going to have a subplot but then removed it, then why would they keep this shot? My theory is that the cinematographer insisted on keeping the shot because of this. Glide cam. I'm not kidding, and I know this from personal experience. Sometimes camera enthusiasts insist on keeping in pointless shots because they were impressive, and sometimes they insist on moving cinematography when the scene calls for something more still. By the way, good job on having the actual address in the shot. I found it on Google Maps, and it's less than a day's drive for me to go visit this historic filming location. I know you want me to make a joke about that movie, but I'm not going to. I'm happy for them. The two Gardners decide that they need to steal Andy in order to put him on the internet to become famous. There might be a flaw in this plan.
Hello, Internet. We have a talking rat. Subscribe.
Hi, I'm Andy. At first I missed my family, but then they gave me food. How stupid do they think we are? They obviously just took a regular hedgehog and dubbed it over. You suck. The two thieves get access to the house by claiming to check for termites. Meanwhile, Tori faints at the sight of a talking hedgehog.
I kept my bargain with you. Could I go wander around on my own now?
Do you even have the slightest idea what a dangerous world it is out there?
Sure I do. Wait, what do you mean?
What I mean, Hedgehog, is there are things outside that want to eat you.
What? Is that true?
You kept your word to me, Andy.
Yeah, Lily. Don't answer his question assuaging his fears or anything. Just ignore it. You terrible child. Andy is finally allowed to wander out on his own. Now here's what's going on. Andy is wandering around by himself while a couple of men are coming here to steal him. So anyone can see what's coming next. Absolutely nothing. Really. The two thieves instead run into Whiskers, who makes a deal with them to help catch Andy.
I want 20% of the take and points on the back end.
Why do you need a cut of the profit? You're a cat.
There's a lot of good stuff to sniff out here. I've never really noticed it before. A lot of good places to pee, too.
How about you pee on me? Oh boy! Now I need you to prepare yourself for this. What's coming next is a movie mistake so egregious that even a child would spot the error. Let's see if you can spot the error.
You know, Whiskers doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just old and... Wait a second. Is that milk? Did Lily put out milk for me? It is. I love milk. Milk, 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 milk.
Yes, really. For some reason, a good amount of Andy's outdoor activities is filled with stock footage of other hedgehogs that are obviously not Andy. Many of them are different shapes and colors from Andy. Even for kids, this is pushing it. You can't just show footage of Andy Hedgehog and claim that it's Andy. Oh my god, it's Andy the talking hedgehog! Now before I move on, I'm a little thirsty, so I need to go get myself a drink. Ooh, a soda. I'm sorry about that. I know that was a little unprofessional, but I was just a little thirsty.
You know, I wonder if my friend Mike wants to come over for some milk. I love milk. I'll bet Mike would like milk too.
Andy, my knees are acting up. My tendinitis is acting up. These veterinarians, man, they don't know what they're talking about.
Mike, for crying out loud, just drink milk. Ugh, I had to send Mike home. That guy was a major downer.
Congratulations, movie! You made it funny!
What's that guy over there? Uh-oh, wait a minute. Is that a dog? Stay very still, he doesn't see me. He does, he sees me. Run, scramble, run. I can't, my legs are too small. He's coming very, very fast. He's a very fast dog. Ball up, get in the ball, get in the ball.
It's a little impressive that the dog's growling comes off as more fake than Andy talking. Plus, this is obviously just a friend's dog they used because they used a poodle. I'm not saying that a poodle can't harm someone, especially a hedgehog, but it's an odd choice. You might as well have used a teacup chihuahua. Wait a minute, because of Lily's whisk, flowers can talk, but dogs can't? What is wrong with Lily? If I made that whisk, then most dogs would be able to talk, because any dog that wants to be my buddy is my buddy. Andy eventually returns to the house, just in time for Tori to regain consciousness. Tori's character reminds me a lot of the boy Yinda from Karel Zaman's classic film, A Journey to the Beginning of Time, as they are both pointless characters that should have been cut from the film. The only point to Tori's character is that she comes up with an idea to exploit Andy,
so that we can become famous and meet the Kardashians.
Yay! Kim can autograph my copy of Disaster Movie.
Please stop talking.
What's strange about this is that before Tina texted Tori, she said this.
You guys are going to be famous.
So it made it seem like Tina would be the one to come up with an idea on how to make Andy famous. Tori could have easily been written out. It would have been a small move, especially for a smaller production like this one, though the actress, Kayla Jude, is a Joel Paul Reisig regular, so maybe he just wanted to include her, which is fine.
In fact, he may even get a girlfriend.
A girlfriend?
Yeah, you like that?
Can I eat it?
No, a girlfriend is like a mate.
What can I do with a mate?
You can eat it.
Oh boy, thanks Miss Mantis.
Don't worry, Andy. I just go for the food.
To Tori's credit, her plan is to show him off at the school, which is harder to fake than an internet video.
But I was supposed to be the science project. You promised!
Honey, we were gonna show them why you're the perfect candidate for a brain transplant.
Yeah, and you're sure that's better than Andy talking?
I don't know. Maybe. Wait, how come I'm the perfect candidate for a brain transmission thing?
It's sad that no one is willing to talk about Trixie's numerous brain tumors. Just then, they are interrupted by the less competent thieves, telling them that there are termites. This causes everyone to leave the house.
What's going on with those girls?
Termites.
Oh my gosh, we have them after all, don't we?
I guess that's what Mr. Roller says.
Well, get your things, honey. I'll have to drive you to school now.
Which is something that I avoid doing at all cost. Please don't say hello to every tree you see this time.
But the trees are my friends.
Damn it, Lily. I knew I should have given you up for adoption.
The prospective hedgehog thieves are delayed from their robbery when Bob comes home early because he forgot something. Seeing that Whiskers and Andy can talk now, Bob believes he's going insane. While this is all happening, Lily is visited at school by her Fairy Bff. The Fairy Bff tells Lily that she needs to undo a wish and shows her that her father is going insane.
So you gotta fix this, Lily. I'm sorry.
But I love my wish, and it's not that big of a deal.
The last time this happened, the guy went on a killing spree.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. What if I don't want another wish?
Then your fairy BFF is going to be turned into a toad forever and ever.
I don't see how that's my problem.
You terrible child.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Who are you talking to?
I know the shot is a little cheesy, but I think it's relatable. Because my friends and I always go around and find somebody who's acting a little bit out of the ordinary and look at them like this. We're then introduced to another subplot. One of Tina's teachers has a crush on another teacher, but he's too nervous to ask her out.
Excuse me, Miss Sabanet.
Well, good morning, Mr. Krugen. I didn't see you come in my classroom. Can I help you with something?
You look very nice today, Miss Sabanet.
This was included because audience interest is overrated. Seriously though, this is one of the least interesting subplots in cinema history. And unlike Tori's crush on Bob, this subplot will be followed through on. It's technically not a pointless subplot, but its only point is to overcome a very arbitrary obstacle. So it could have easily been written out. When Tina and Lily come home, they find Dean Cain trying to show off his acting chops by being crazy.
Still talking, I see?
Yeah, it's sort of what I do now.
Okay. Well, how about it? Try to scare the wife?
I'll be real careful about that. Thanks, Bob.
Okay.
Lily, sweetheart, I think Daddy's having a nervous meltdown.
I think he's been watching too much silly TV.
Or you could tell your dad he's not crazy and that animals can really talk. But no, that's what a not terrible child would do. The mom finds out that animals can talk too, though she handles it a bit better.
Animals talking. No big deal at all.
Hey, don't forget about us.
Plants too? Great. Now I can hear the flowers talk to me while they slowly die. Thanks, Lily.
You're welcome.
I was being sarcastic, you brat. You two are a gay couple? Great! If you want to adopt a child, I have one right here for you.
That night, the three tea leaders talk about the teacher romance subplot, because all teenagers are super interested in their teachers' love lives. This is a good segue for Whiskers to talk about his tragic backstory.
I know what it's like to love. A long time ago, I had someone. Oh, you think it's not possible. I was young, powerful, slick.
Okay, that was an edit by me, but would you be really shocked if the movie did that? Though at the same time, the stock footage they use is a little sloppy too. I'm certain that some of these are shots of kittens. The gist of his story is that he was in love with another cat, but...
One day, she didn't come home.
What the hell is up with that reaction? The love of your life probably died?
I got up in the highest tree I could find. I looked everywhere. She'd been truckered, flattened, smushed, kaput.
While this backstory isn't effective, I do give it credit for trying. Like, everyone in the film has been judging Whiskers for being a grumpy cat, but sometimes animals are aggressive because they experienced a past trauma. So sometimes you gotta understand the animal and...
Gee, Whiskers, you could depress a hyena.
Andy, you piece of garbage! Whiskers gave his traumatic backstory and all you could say is, wow, way to ruin the mood. After the disrespect, Andy is visited by the Fairy BFF. She wants Andy to convince Lily to reverse the wish. Yeah, I'll totally do that. I'll give up my sentience just so he won't get turned into an animal like me. The next morning, Lily is visited again by the Fairy BFF while she's trying to go to the restroom.
Now remember, the only way that you can reverse a talking wish is that you have to wish something good for someone else.
Remember? You never brought that up before. You're just making it up as you go along.
Fairy BFF?
Yeah?
I really need to go to the bathroom now.
Go!
This film is so relatable. My Fairy BFF insisted I peed in front of her too. Lily wants to take Andy to school. The mom thinks it might be a bad idea because pets aren't allowed in school. Actually, that's not true. Pets are allowed in school, but Andy specifically isn't. Lily takes Andy to school anyway, because he's special.
We're about to see those mean girls again. Remember, kids, It's always best to be nice to them, even if they're not so nice to you.
First of all, that is a terrible message. Yes, in general, it's good to be kind to people, but sometimes people don't deserve your kindness. Like people who are causing active harm to others or bigots. If you're being kind to them, then you're being a passive enabler. Secondly...
Gee whiskers, you could depress a hyena.
That's a very lovely thing, Lily. But you still can't have pets in class.
Excuse me, ma'am, but I really think that I'm more than just a pet.
Oh my. What in the world?
Wow, that was definitely a subdued reaction. I hope Lily's other teacher reacts that well.
I'm sorry, sweetheart, but you cannot bring pets to class.
I'm not just a pet. I'm Andy the talking hedgehog. No. The underreaction of the teacher is indicative of a larger problem with this film. It's that the reactions to Andy talking are so mild. Yes, we have Bob going crazy. And it's implied the mom's going crazy too. But they might just need a few weeks to get used to it. Otherwise, the animals talking doesn't cause that many problems. This right here is a problem, because the major conflict of the film is Lily having to make the difficult decision to undo her wish. Wouldn't there be more weight to this if Andy talking caused chaos? If animals talking caused pandemonium, then that would be funny, interesting, and fit in with the conflict of the film. So it makes too much sense why they didn't do that.
I had a pet mouse once and, well, she talked to me.
That mouse was your brother. Show some respect. The mean girl starts being rude to Andy, and the teacher forces her to apologize. Lily offers to have the mean girl come play with Andy.
Be nice, and remember, no one is named without a simple reason.
Sometimes the reason is that they're an ass.
You're pretty good at petting me. And this is where Betsy gave me a really good belly rub. She wasn't mean at all. She was actually quite the belly rubber.
That is really cute, until you think about how our protagonist is getting immense pleasure from a little girl rubbing him. A few boring scenes later, we are finally at the science show. The teenagers are talking about the boring teacher subplot, which gives Lily an idea. She wishes that the two teachers are finally able to be together, undoing the talking animal wish. She could have used her wish to cure someone's cancer or paralysis, but she chose to instead use her wish to give those two idiots the confidence to bang each other. She is a terrible child. To enforce how terrible she is, she made the wish right before the cheerleaders presented Andy talking, and doesn't tell them that she undid the wish, making them a laughingstock. Even when she supposedly does something selfless, it comes with the condition that she has to ruin other people's lives in the process.
Andy, talk.
The entire cafeteria laughed at the cheerleaders. They laughed until the two love-struck teachers started fornicating in the middle of the cafeteria. Everyone was disturbed, with the exception of Trixie, who took selfies in front of the fornicating pair. The movie's not over yet, because we still have the two gardeners trying to kidnap Andy. Yes, they are finally going to kidnap Andy right after he can't talk anymore. I personally thought that Andy's attempted kidnapping would factor into Lily's decision to undo her wish. Like Lily would feel that she needs to undo her wish for Andy's safety. But I guess not. Part of me understands why they did it this way, so that the film could have a more triumphant ending. I still think it was a poor decision though, because it made the whole kidnapping subplot extraneous. They finally grab a hold of Andy and try to kidnap him. They fumble like poorly written antagonists do, causing Whiskers to chase after Andy himself. He almost gets hit by a car, but Andy warns him just in time.
I almost got truckered. Andy, my boy, you saved my life.
Well, that's what friends do.
That's why we needed the backstory about Whiskers' beloved getting run over, to explain why Whiskers wouldn't want to be run over. If it wasn't for that backstory, Whiskers would be down to get flattened. Roller has grabbed Andy, but the rest of the family has noticed the abduction. It's Bob to the rescue.
Yes! I killed this man! Now let's leave Lily on the side of the road!
Yay! What?
So they abandon Lily and the film ends, though we get a special treat in the end credits as we hear Andy and Whiskers talk over them. But you barely hear them because of how bad the sound mixing is.
Now let's see some actors.
That's Dean Cain. He played Superman on TV a long time ago.
And now he's in this movie. Loser.
Show me Tara Reid.
She's great. She's in all of those shark movies that I like.
Tara's great, but I would have preferred it if we got that bikini waitress. Imagine getting belly rubs from her.
Damn it, Andy! We can't afford any more sexual harassment lawsuits.
I liked her in American Pie.
All kids should watch American Pie.
That's Maven. She's nice, but not such a great driver.
Yeah, she was the one who truckered my wife.
Good.
I prefer Allie. She doesn't take any nonsense.
Obviously she does. She's in this movie. Burn.
Hey look, Whiskers, it's me. It says that my voice was done by that producer guy, Joel Paul Reisig. How exciting.
Well, that explains why you sound like such a whiny little pain in the...
Look, Whiskers, he played you too.
Hey, what in the world? Are you telling me that I've just been arguing with myself all these years?
Oh my god! What am I? Is any of this real? Do I even have free will? Help!
Well, that was Andy the Talking Hedgehog. Let's see what it gets on my personal recommendation meter. It's a I recommend you avoid it film. There is a ton of problems with this film. Some I already mentioned, and some I didn't because they didn't really add to the humor. This was surprisingly hard to sit through. It's only an hour and 16 minutes long, but it felt longer. Hell, I recently watched Andrei Tarkovsky's Stalker for the first time, which is twice as long as this, but it went by so much faster. Ironic, seeing as it was a film by a director known for long takes. Though I'm thankful I watched both films in a short time period from each other, because now I know why the room in the zone in Stalker grants wishes. That's where Fairy Bff lives!
Вуаля! Перед нами новое изобретение профессора.
Damn, I can't understand Russian. Magic subtitle powers.
Это всего-навсего бомба.
Wait, did he mention a bomb?
Andy the Talking Hedgehog dragged for a multitude of reasons. The uninteresting plots in the film, most of which were pointless, the fact that most of the jokes don't land, and the terribly repetitive music. The major issue with the film, though, is how generic it is. There probably isn't many films of the Talking Hedgehog, but these cliches and characters have been done millions of times before. It's even worse here because this film is independent. So it wasn't like they were forced to add cliches by some out-of-touch producer, though judging by Joel Paul Reisig's website, he might be more interested in selling a film than making a film worth selling. By that logic, the generic nature of the film makes sense, though maybe some of his other films like Faith Under Fire or Trafficked are more ambitious. Though the IMDb ratings of those films don't inspire confidence. Now, I'm not one of those people who demand 100% originality or think that using tropes is automatically bad. Like, tropes are fine if they fit organically into the story. The problem is when tropes are used out of a sense of obligation and the film doesn't offer anything new. Now, I want to emphasize that I'm not saying this film is bad because it's low budgeted and amateurish. In fact, the amateurish quality makes me want to be nicer to the film, makes me want to root for it. Being amateurish isn't always bad. I've seen some locally produced short films that were great. I've also seen some that make Andy the Talking Hedgehog look like Paddington 2. This movie isn't bad because of the budget, and I'll prove it. Next time I'm reviewing a kids film that is just as bad as this one, with a much higher budget.
First we have Roger Moore. She played Trixie, the teacher, and the praying mantis.
I don't like her. She hit me with an axe. It was a prop, but it still hurt. And she insisted on doing 50 takes.
Next we have Gucci Watts, who played Bob and Roller. He sounds like a luxury brand light bulb.
I thought that was a mellow filmmaker. Anastasia Barkey plays Melly the mom and the Fairy Bff. She's the mellow filmmaker's sister.
He gets his sister to act in his videos? What a loser!
Tennille Maiden plays Lily. She did a great job.
I hope her and Captain can play us a song about muskrat love. You know, Captain and Tennille, they're a singing couple from the 70s. They made a song called Muskrat Love.
Okay, Boomer.
Anyway, here's Mary Allen, who played Tori. She's the mother of Tennille, the girl who played Lily.
I always knew Tori was Lily's mom. We have Veronica Cuellar, who voiced Tina. She's also known as Pretty V.
Oh, so she's calling all the other V's ugly. Finally, we have Tano Baki, a.k.a. the mellow filmmaker. He also did our voices.
Of all the people who could have reviewed our movie, it had to be this jackass. He's not even monetized. Why couldn't it have been someone popular like I Hate Everything or YourMovieSucks.com?
Well, at least he has great friends who are willing to help him with his videos.
Aren't we friends, Whiskers?
We could be if you stopped making jokes about my wife's death.
Haha, yeah. That reminds me. Guess who I am?
Hello, I'm a stupid ugly cat. I'm too stupid to not play in traffic. Oh no! I got ran over by a truck. Now I'm only slightly uglier than before.
You're my wife?
Bingo!
Damn it, Andy!
You know, Whiskers, your wife may have been stupid and ugly, but I could give her this. She was a really good belly rubber.
What?
Your wife. She rubbed my belly. All the time.
That's it, Andy! You're dead!
Whiskers, you can't harm me.
Why do you have a gun, Andy?
I gotta protect myself from those filthy porcupines. Now, goodbye, Whiskers.
You missed.
I don't really have much practice, but I do have bullets.
You're a terrible shot.
Damn it.
Wait, I think I heard a thump on the other side of this door. Oh my god! You hit one of Tina's friends!
Oh no! Don't tell me I killed Trixie!
No, this is Tori.
Oh, okay.
She's still breathing. She's still alive.
I could fix that.
Andy, no!
This movie doesn't have a horse.